guys, look at the new mug I bought myself. It's really cute. Yeah. It says plant parent in the... Isn't that awesome?
Well,
Oh my gosh. Even this vehicle.
Day that we're dropping off the curio cabinet. Hello everybody, it's Nova and I'm here with Pecky. Today we're here to present to you a cost comparison video. If you've been paying attention to our page, you'll notice that the past couple of weeks we've released 2 table set videos.
yeah. So anyway, if you haven't seen those yet, check them out. There will be a link via card option on the side of the screen. Which side of the screen?
This side.
The side of the screen. So here we're going to pop up the pictures for the 2 table sets for a quick reference point. The one on the left is what we consider the Farmhouse Black.
So on the right side of the screen, we have our very latest table set video, which we call Country Brittle. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for giving us such an awesome Christmas present. When we woke up in the morning, it was at 1K. When we went to bed, it was 2K. Like an hour ago, it was at 3K. And we're just, thank you so much. We're astonished by how much traction that's gotten.
Awesome gift.
It was a very awesome
year.
Christmas gift. So thank you to everyone who viewed it.
Thank you very, very much.
So a decision that Packy and I came to was that we're only going to be focusing on the costs of the chairs for the table sets instead of the tables. Why would that be?
Well, the reason was, obviously I went into knowing I was going to be doing 2 full table sets back to back. And I thought about, in the end result, having this comparison of materials versus labor on different styles or technique and choices made. But when I got into it, there was just too many things that happened to both tables differently that just made them not comparable anymore. Like for the Farmhouse Black, I had a dehumidifier issue, which caused the poly to have issues and had to troubleshoot through all of that.
Yeah.
And then with Country Brittle, it was troubleshooting through what I was going to do with that surface from the get-go.
Yeah.
So they're just, these particular sets for tables aren't equal to compare for time versus whatever. But the chairs, even though I did slightly go in a different direction, there's enough involved in them that are similar that I think we can still do an effective comparison. So that's why we chose that.
Yeah. So the reason that we wanted to compare these 2 projects is because these techniques that were used were so completely different. On one hand, we have something very inexpensive but very time consuming, and on the other hand, we have something very expensive but very quick. So that is where we wanted to see the difference between if the more expensive is worth the money or if the cheaper but more time-consuming option would be the better one.
Yeah, I had never really spray painted like furniture before, other than maybe like wicker furniture, and I had seen other creators do that and stand by it. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, spray paint, it's so expensive to buy the cans of spray paint, like $7.95, $8.95 a piece. And knowing that you need layers, not levels, layers, it could add up. Where when you're hand painting something, you get a quart and it can last several projects, not just the one, you know. So, but it's a lot more time consuming to hand paint a set of 4 chairs and with all the spindles. So we're basically considering the cleaning and the scuff sanding and stuff like that's in equal measure. We're not really going to dissect that out for the overall cost comparison, but in the end it's kind of added back in and just to show, hey, the amount of hours in all for this project was this amount.
So, Pecky, let's break down what you use for the Farmhouse Black chairs.
So on the Farmhouse Black chairs, that's the one I decided I was going to use the spray paint, which in my eye, this is a more expensive choice for a product. I started out thinking 1 can per chair, but 4 cans didn't even get me completely through the 4th chair, so I had to go back and get more. So it was 6 cans, and at $7.99 per can, it can get expensive. There's some projects where it even needs a 3rd coat or a 4th coat for full coverage. I was lucky with black that it wasn't needed. But I then did want to cover it with a protection. So I also got the enamel satin clear protection from Rust-Oleum. And those are $8.59 a can. So, I mean, I got them coated twice with 2.5 cans. So, you know, again, I was kind of lucky there because it, you know, didn't need thick coats. So it was just an added coat. So when you're talking about that, you're talking about like $69 in product alone. So that in a way is kind of expensive.
So now that we've talked about the Farmhouse Black chairs, what were the products that you had to use for the Country Brittle chairs?
Oh, well, the Country Brittle, a lot more products to use. When I'm hand painting a project, well, and it's also the color choice maybe, but you know, since the color wasn't black, you need to use a primer. I figured that some of the tannins from the wood could bleed through red. Red is one of those that sometimes takes many, many coats to get full coverage. So I started out, of course, after the cleaning and whatnot, with the furniture enamel, oil-enriched furniture paint. And the thing about hand painting is the products, like, you have to get all of these products, but you don't use very much of each, so you can use them for very many projects. So some of these things that I used on this particular project, I already had on hand, and I only accounted for the amount that I used.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about Dixie Belle Boss Primer, that's something that's going to block all of the tannin bleed through. And I only needed to use about half of the amount that comes in a container. So you're not going to account for the full price of that. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
So then when I'm using the red color that I used on the spindles, of course, that is a full quart of paint that you have to get, but you're only using a certain amount.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to do like 3 coats of red. Before that was done. And then when you're talking about the seats, like you got the citrus strip, you have mineral spirits to stop the chemical reaction and do the final clean and stuff. You have wood conditioner to put on it before you put the stain on it. So there's 4 products right there that weren't included. So that part of it might not be comparing apples to apples, but it's just showing you like quick and easy, make a profit, or long and more artistic and more time consuming and making a statement. Like, these are the 2 different choices you can make. So that's basically where we're at with that.
Okay. So, Pecky, when I was looking at your list for cost expenses, I saw that you had around $42 for all of the products that you use for the Country Brittle chairs.
Yeah, that's approximately correct when you're talking about just this amount of this or this amount of that or this amount of that. Yeah. So that's approximately what I calculated for use of product on that.
So now we're about to start talking about the amount of time that it took for Pecky to complete both of the sets.
Right. The techniques were different and took different amount of time. So on the first, being the Farmhouse Black, it took about 8.5 hours to complete that whole set and all of the stages within it. So if you're talking 8.5 hours, and even if you're thinking low, like $20 an hour, like what, that's basically like $190 or 170, sorry. 170. See, I can't do math in my head.
Yeah, that's okay.
In front of people, especially. So anyway, so you're talking about 170 for a set of 4 kitchen chairs, which, depending on what area you're at, that's not outstanding to ask for, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think that's practical,
Yeah.
you know, or whatnot. But then you jump over to the other techniques for hand painting.
Yeah.
Many more layers. So like I can, when you're talking Farmhouse Black, I can paint all 4 chairs twice through, painting them with the spray paint in about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Country Brittle, and even if we want to take it down to just hand painting the spindles and take the seats out of it, since that was like different technique entirely.
Yeah.
But just painting the spindles, an hour and a half per coat, 3 different coats. So you're just already there talking about so much more time.
Yeah.
So, and then when you add on top of that being even more customized and
Yeah.
whatnot, when you're doing the chair seats and different things, and so much more sanding in between different layers because of the different techniques or whatnot, then you're up to what, about 27 hours for all 4 chairs. You're
Yeah.
about up to 27 hours.
And that
So,
would be like
yeah.
a lot.
Well, yeah, if you add that or times that by 20, you're at 540.
Whew.
Some places you might can get 540 for a set of 4 kitchen chairs, but nobody around here is probably going to pay for a refinished older set of chairs that look good but are older.
Well, I mean, they look brand new. Why wouldn't they?
Well, I think it's just, that's the difference. You put less time into one technique and you get a good durable finish out of it, and you're more likely to get the amount of money for the hours you put in.
Yeah.
But then you transition over to more custom, more artistic, more creative, and you're going to be putting in time that you don't necessarily get a good hourly rate out of.
Yeah.
I guess that's the whole point of the cost effectiveness. Here, when you're first thinking about a project and you're thinking, oh my God, that's expensive to spend $60 or plus
Yeah.
and just paints, and that'll only last for this project. There's no more paint after that.
Yeah.
Then it seems in your head instantly that this is too expensive. But really, when you're computing that with the hours amount that it took for the whole project, you actually are not spending as much time
Right.
by a lot, enough to make it not so expensive for that product,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to do the cost comparison, because it really turns out that that's the more profitable way of maybe kicking over a fast refinish and getting a profit out of it.
All right.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up this video. I hope you found the information beneficial and it might help you make a decision on how you're going to start your project. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas this past week.
Yes, we both hope you had a very awesome week with lots of quality time with your family. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or thoughts, don't hesitate to let us know down below in the comments. Wherever you are, have a good night and stay safe out there. Have a Happy New Year!
Via card option on the
I
side.
do need a drink. Gosh.
Here are
That
some
was funny.
pictures. Yeah.
And you didn't laugh.
You want me to focus and get caught up? I'm trying.
It will stay because I told it to.
Oh my goodness. It's making my armpit itch.
Me putting your hair back is making.
Yeah.
You look really cute.
You're saying on the right, but that's your left hand. That's why it's not coming out right. That was was so cute.
And by the way, guys, thank you so much for getting a grandma.
Hey, but it's only one more full page, and then we're halfway
No.
there.
Oh. He's my baby boy.